and general consensus is that Maize Plus makes you less profit. So with chickens, the value of eggs doesn't go up, but the amount of food the chicken eats goes up quite horrendously, and so that's not a good thing, because it's kind of difficult to make money with chickens. Sheep, similarly, are a very low value animal. You really must, you need to consider possibly selling lambs almost immediately, so that you get the $100 per lamb every time they pop, because otherwise they're going to be costing you money to feed, and they're not going to be productive. Oh, what's that? The wool also not increased in value or in production rate. Dairy cows produce 10 times as much milk and eat 10 times as much food. So generally are still, they would cost you more because 10 times as much food, but also some of the food points are more expensive than just feeding them TMR. However, I did put that in drive, so that's good. They're good enough. My keyboard's died again. Oh, there we go. Having a few issues with my keyboard. Beef cows, you'll make less money, but the offset with cows is the manure and slurry production. They produce 10 times as much of that, so if you're selling that as well, it will help offset the increased cost of the food. But in general, the percentage of income to cost for animals with Maize Plus is lower. So don't expect to make 10 times more money. You'll make some more money, but not all of the more money. And I'm waiting to see how pigs fare, because I don't know that either. And he hasn't done, well, at least as far as I know, he hasn't done the pig thing. What is it I'm talking about? The relative value of pigs to food costs. But generally chickens, you're probably going to make more money selling the barley than you are saving it and feeding the chickens with it. Base game chickens are quite, they're a good thing to have around, and just they'll produce you money every month in base game. But yeah, cost of animals is a lot higher with Maize Plus. So, and they're really only tailored for for the milk cows. Increased milk production is a serious bonus. Two at a time. But the value of animals for buying and selling, the value of wool, the value of eggs just isn't adjusted. Now, the Maize Plus folks may alter that so that you do get more for selling the animal or selling the eggs and wool. However, I know on the sheep one, Disturbed was saying that really in the UK, there's really not a lot of money to be made on sheep with wool. And that's mainly because you're paying the shearers to come in and shear your sheep, and the value of the wool is about what it costs to shear the sheep. So really not great income from those. Now obviously if you are a professional sheep shearer, once a year you're going to get paid tons of money to shear hundreds of sheep. But you'll have to find something else to do for the other 11 months of the year, I guess. Oh, oops. No. Go back, pick it up. Let's lift it off the ground, that's better. So yeah, this, I think I'm going to go with this is easier to use than the Massey Ferguson for this particular job. And really just because of the manoeuvrability. I wasn't necessarily going to, this one wasn't a planned purchase. It was, I need a skid steer and this one's cheap. And fits for what we need. So happy with that. So the bale spike is over here for the skid steer. We'll go and stick this, I guess, next to the poop tank. And engine off. And keyboard's not working again. Don't know what the problem with that is. There we go. I just changed the batteries, so it shouldn't be the batteries. And now we're not walking again. There we go. Start the engine, shut the doors, and off to Maypole exports again. So now you can have cheese and tomato sandwiches. Actually, that's not bad. Grilled cheese and tomato sandwich. Problem is, nobody else in the house likes tomatoes. I'm not a super fan of tomatoes. I won't just pick one up and eat one. But as something you have in a salad or something you slice on a pizza or a sandwich, yeah, it's something I would eat, but not worth having tomatoes sitting around the house because nobody else is going to eat them. I suppose we could grow some next year. We did get given a bunch last year, which Mrs. Osa turned into tomato sauce that we could have as a pizza topping or pasta thing, except they're currently frozen in bags in the freezer and haven't been looked at since they went there. An orange 2CV. Well, I haven't seen one of those. I think we, I might not have added it, but Alien Paul did a right-hand drive AI traffic And I did download it. I just don't think I've included it yet. And open the doors and sell the tomatoes. There we are. Good and done. So, May, June. June is tomorrow. July is when the harvest happens. So, we might be looking at another couple of skip. Well, no, we're not going to look at a couple of skip months. What we're now going to do is obviously skip to June, and I will check the obviously the store says yellow 2CV. That's what I'm used to seeing. Orange one, not so much. But sorry, squirrel. Yeah, we will look for some contracts to do next month, so maybe put us back up to 170,000 money again in the bank. Oh, scratch the paint off. So yeah, I'll drive in the middle, and yes, that is right-hand drive. Cool. And that may be something that the Maypole map update included, and I didn't actually have to download the mod. That's good. Oh, bounce. Oh, turn. It's a little bit jittery, this thing. But, but all our, because that's the thing, yeah, we've got to the point, all our fields are now good to go. We just have to wait for them to ripen so that we can harvest them. I do need a header for the harvester. I do need a header trailer for the harvester. But I'm holding off until we actually have something to harvest before I buy either of those. Because we don't, yeah, it's not something we need to have sitting around the farm waiting for something to happen. Anyway, that would be a nice other thing to have. So this thing, you put slurry in it. Well, you're not supposed to move it with slurry in, so you would position that on a field. You would then bring a tanker full of slurry to unload into it, and then you can use it to replenish your slurry spreader while it's on the field. Kind of like with a manure spreader, you load all the manure into a tipper and take it out to the field that you want to spread manure on, and then drive out with a manure spreader truck and a front loader with a bucket and load it all up that way. So yeah, that's our 3-point bale spike. That's our front loader bale spike. We have a rock picker, a log grab, and a weight, and then we have pallet forks on the Massey, which I could probably take off now. We don't need those permanently attached. Oh, and there's the Land Rover, which I have turned around, which is rather awkward because we get out on the wrong side. Okay, so that's all we need to do for May. A quick May. And then, okay, so June, vehicle leasing. We got a lease. Why have I got a lease? Oh, hello. That's a planter. It's a very cheap planter. 350 horsepower. We got 388 on the John Deere. So we could use that. It's 18.2 meters, a little bit big. Okay, what we got leased? Oh, that thing. And it's still going to cost us 141 to buy it, so not going to do anything with that for now. Oh, don't return it. That's not a thing. So Agro Truck has up to 35,000. Let's have a look at that. Configuration standard with purple wheels. Yuck. Oh, manure spreader. Engine setup, standard A, 500, 620, 800. Yeah, 500's good. Wheel brand, Nokian, fine. Tyre setup, fine. Windscreen stone guard, yeah. Roof bar, hasn't got one. Don't need one really. Bull bar, it has one. GPS, it doesn't. Seriously, who has purple wheels? Those are expensive. Polished metal, much better. And grey body colour. So that's a 35,500 litre tipper. Actually, it's not a tipper. It's a pusher. Something I would consider, but for right now. Total price 88,000, balance in the bank 73. Not something I can actually afford, but yeah. Also, the other thing with that is it doesn't have weight. Yeah, it doesn't have a load capacity, so it's 17.9 tons empty, but it doesn't have a load capacity which limits realistic loads. So not interested in that. We are done looking at that. Our fields are. Our fields are up here somewhere. Blue. Oh, they all need rolling. Yeah, I could use a roller. Nothing ready to harvest. See, this is getting close to harvest. This is getting close to harvest, which is what I expected. They were both planted as early as possible, so they're good. Cows still have a ton of food, a reasonable amount of straw, 2 tanks worth of milk. Contracts, there are lots of baling contracts. Not particularly lucrative. That's a tedder contract. So I could do a couple of hay contracts. There's actually quite a lot of hay contracts. So I may do them off stream during this week. And then next week we will obviously have to do everything because we will be at the point of three streams in a row, so I won't have time to do stuff off camera. So if I do baling contracts, yeah, we're all going to live through it. But we haven't done one on stream for a while, so it's not too serious a deal. This thing isn't even an hour old. What is the time? We're coming up to 11 o'clock. So I will do this. Oh, it's going to rain in June. That's wonderful. So I think last time I looked, we had 2 tanks to take down to the dairy. So we'll do that. Then we might skip to 2nd day of June. There'll be another tank load of milk to deliver. then probably call it a day for this week. Okay, stop before you get into the square. And it does unload with the okay, that was weird. Sorry, it does unload with the lids closed. Not a particularly long trip. It's kind of a good thing. I mean, the wheat really does look like it's almost ready. The oats, not quite so much. But I'm pretty sure I planted those oats as early as I could. Oh, might also have... Yeah, let's go check that while this fills. Also a lot of manure. Button. Okay, 410,000 litres in the manure pit, and this is ready to cut, so might get that started. Let me through. Milk, 17,000 litres left, so yeah, that's not a full tank. And I'm not doing drives with partial tanks of milk because it's just a waste of time. Anyway, gonna rain, and we are going to need to make some more silage to go in our silage dump over here. So yeah, we should do all of that at the same time. Ouch. So there is a little glitch, a couple of glitches on this side of the road, which this truck does notice. The previous truck we had would go airborne, so not the greatest. Which is why we don't have that one anymore, we have this one. And this has about 500 litres more capacity than the old one. Squeak! It's done. Okay, so dairy is complete. And of course then we have day 3. Actually, I think what I figure we'll do is I'm going to set the Massey Ferguson up with the mower, and I'm going to set a worker loose on our field to cut the grass. That's step 1. And then we'll call it a day. So you're done, you're parked up. Do with somewhere to put all of our front loader attachments, because this area over here is getting a little bit crowded, and as I said, I don't need front loader attachers on this anymore since we've now got the skid steer, or at least not permanently. This is a front loader tractor. It was bought as a front loader tractor. It was configured actually it was configured by the previous owner as a front loader tractor, so you know, it's all set up for front loader work and a little bit of field work. But I want to use the skid steer most of them. Yes, good. I want to use the skid steer most of the time for most of our front loader work on the farm. And so we can give this one a break. But front loader work with this tractor will be on an as needed basis, but I don't know what I'm going to use it for right this minute type of thing. So also the front loader tools take up space, so there's that too. Let's back up a little. We will get this guy. Oh, no. Back up. With conditioner 10. Okay. Yeah, because the problem I found is workers don't. We're not tedding this, so it's not too big of a problem. But if you don't use conditioner with your mower, workers will not ted the grass. At least they wouldn't. They might do now, but previously they didn't. So that was an issue. Anyway. Good farming shoes. So, that's it. We are into June. Not a lot done today. We sprayed our fields, we sold our perishables, and we bought a couple of loaders for cheap. So not too shabby. As I said, we've still got that thing available, but I don't need another one of those. I can't afford either of those two, but if that was a planter, I would be, no, a seeder. I would be looking at definitely getting hold of that. But it's a planter, so not as important. Most of our crops are still going to be cereal crops, and then you can plant soybeans and canola with a seeder, so that's kind of where that all sits right now. And I'd like a direct drill rather than something you have to cultivate with first, because obviously we don't have a cultivator or a harrow or anything like that, so we would need to buy one. It's interesting, does that one? This seeder offers the ability to direct seed. So this is actually a direct seeder, one of the few seeders that is. But, yeah. Anyway. I guess we will leave it here. So I will wish you all a good weekend. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year if you're out and about next week. Stream will be Friday, Saturday and Monday next weekend. So Blockbuster stream, anybody on YouTube, they will be released 2 videos a day, probably for about 3 weeks, since that's going to butt into New Year's, which is going to be another 3 streaming weekend. But for right now, as I said, I wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and have a good weekend. For right now, I am out of here.